Did you know that people are mixing these food ingredients with tempera paint and creating fantastic abstract paintings with hardly any artistic skills? Hello, my name is Tony Armlin. I'm in front of the camera and not behind the curtain as the person who came up with this crazy idea of adding food to paint. This short documentary shows the methods I've shared with others and how you too can learn to paint with food. You might be asking, why in the world would you want to add food to paint in the first place? Well, it started over 9 years ago when I was a teaching assistant working with adults with developmental disabilities. I wanted the students, using their hands and feet, to feel the experience while creating art. When I added instant pudding, flour, salt, sugar, or coffee beans to tempera paint, the students smelled pleasing odors and felt new textures as they squished or spread the paint mixtures. They thoroughly enjoyed each painting session as I helped them to cover their painting surfaces and actually earned some money selling some of their abstract paintings. I then applied the idea of blending food and paint mixtures to create abstract paintings in one easy session to our senior population. Last year, I shared these techniques with a group of seniors living in my apartment building in 4 one-hour classroom sessions. When the sessions ended, we had produced almost 100 original abstract paintings. I converted my apartment to an in-house gallery for a weekend display where the other residents of our complex could see our fantastic paintings and make a donation to own one. To our surprise, we sold most of our works, and the total donations just about covered all my expenses for the project. Some of that original group continues to meet twice a month in my apartment and are compiling an inventory of new paintings we hope to display at a coffee house later this fall, along with some of my own works. We prepare a batch of pudding by pouring a box of instant pudding into a bowl and blending in a cup of flour. All-purpose flour works best, but you can use whole wheat flour if you would like a grainier texture. We add some warm water, mixing the batch to a consistency of pancake batter. I use a Mix-a-Master to squish out all the lumps. After the main batch is thoroughly mixed, we usually divide it up into 3 separate smaller portions and mix a large squirt or 2 of tempera paint of a different color into each portion. We use smaller portions of pudding paint for our art because at the end of the session, the unused mixtures cannot be saved for future use. Sugar paint mixtures can be saved after the initial painting session. We usually store our sugar paint in plastic squirt bottles. If you pour a cup of granulated sugar into a bowl and then add about a half a cup of tempera paint, after your mixture is completely homogeneous and the consistency of syrup, you can store it in a squirt bottle ready for use. You will know that your mixture is ready when you no longer feel any sugar crystals on the side of the bowl when pressing the backside of your spoon there as you mix. At your next session, you will need to vigorously shake the bottle to make it homogeneous again. You may be aware of salt dough mixtures prepared to the consistency of clay, used for sculpting, but our salt dough paint mixtures are much more watery. We thoroughly dry mix a cup of all-purpose flour and a half a cup of salt, then slowly add a cup of warm water. The final mixture should be similar to our pudding painting mixtures, which are a pancake batter consistency. We divide up our main batch into smaller portions and add a squirt or 2 of tempera paint to each mix. We try and mix an amount that will be used up completely in one session, as any leftovers must be discarded. Here are some of the tools we use when creating our abstract paintings with food ingredients. Most of these are used to move or to blend the painting mixtures together after they are added to the painting. But that's not the case with these. Each of these plastic maracas had holes burned in them by a wood burning tool. Some have more holes than others. We pour sugar paint through the hole in the top and then tape over that opening. Next, we shake the paint-filled maraca over and over onto the surface of the painting. It usually takes several sessions to cover the surface completely. I used to apply these painting materials to stretched canvas, But now to save costs, I visit the lumber yard and purchase boards from their cold lumber stack. I cut them down to appropriate sizes, sanding them, and then coating the painting surface with white latex paint. I glue 2 strips of molding on the back to hold the hooks for hanging. What I discovered with this approach is that the strips on the back side provide an easy pair of handles to grip when pulling the painting away from a cookie sheet to make what we call a squish painting. Well, there you have seen the processes and the techniques that I've created over the years so that you can paint with food. Currently, I have a website, www.tonyarmlin.net, where I display my artwork and some of the other seniors I'm working with. We're hoping to have a display soon so you can check it out.